Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call to order the Dell City Parks and Beautification Committee meeting for March 31st, 2026. It's now 6 o'clock, and we're going to call to order. JD, do you want to do that?
Sorry. See if I can get that here. Commissioner Brown? Here. Commissioner Soto?
Here.
Commissioner McTrusty?
Here.
And Chairwoman Freitas?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum, ma'am.
Okay. Public and committee input. Members of the public, committee, and staff are invited to make comments and ask questions regarding non-agenda items. No formal action may be taken regarding any matters introduced in this portion of the meeting. A maximum of 30 minutes has been set aside for those wishing to discuss non-agenda items. Citizens speak for a maximum of 5 minutes during this time. Walter?
Hello, everyone. Walter Jacks, 4832 Kells Drive. Probably a little over a month ago, I had a conversation with Micah Unruh at Streets and Public Works, and he had the idea of putting together a native plants garden area in Ray Trent Park, and I believe in another park in Dell City additionally. And I told him that I have a bunch of plants available. I propagate a lot of plants in my yard that are native plants. I have a lot of little blue stem grasses. I have a lot of wild violets. I have some coneflowers, a lot of Mexican hats. You name it, I've got probably a couple of dozen different species at least that I'm propagating in my yard. And Micah asked me to coordinate with the Beautification Committee to put together a kind of informal meeting in Ray Trent Park to look at it, try to come up with what area in the park you would like to have done in a native plant selection, and another park if you want to do that too as well. And I wasn't able to get a meeting put together. Maybe you'll have more success putting together an informal meeting. I'd like to be included to see what area in the park. And if you'd like to come over, take a look at my backyard. Floyd's been there. He has an idea of what kind of plants I have available. But I'm talking about really retail will be thousands of dollars worth of plants that I'm just willing to give you. But timing is kind of important. Just for my personal world, and my physical capabilities are about to be severely degraded again pretty soon. And watering is an issue too. So I'm having to try to keep these things alive after I pot them up. So my idea was that they were going to be gone a month ago, and that hasn't happened. So I'd like for you guys to get as many plants as you can before they die. Okay, so if you could put together a meeting in Ray Trent Park, look, select an area, come over, see what I've got, and I'll be happy to give you all that I can. I'm trying to reserve a whole bunch for our Neighbors Night Out event coming up in April. But other than that, I've got a lot of plants that I can even dig up out of the yard and let you have that are nice, mature, Mexican hats, landsleaf coreopsis, all kinds of things, little blue stem grasses. They're beautiful grasses. So please take advantage of that. That's free money for Dell City. No competitive bidding, no grant application. Just come and get what you want to get. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Walter. We actually, if you talked to Floyd about it, we had talked about that sometime back. We had talked about wanting to do kind of like wildflowers or something out there where people come take pictures and stuff like that. So that's, we'd love to do that. And I'll get Micah's number and text everybody, and we'll get a meeting set soon.
Please do. Also, I think you have an opportunity to try to find some not too expensive but permanent plant labels like you would find at a botanical garden to make it an educational area as well. And it might be an opportunity for local school kids to go and take a tour and get a neat education outdoors.
We're
with Northdale Neighborhood Watch, and we take care of the sign on Sooner and Reno. And they've been talking about trying to put in a new sign and all that, and I'm trying to get insight on that. And we will probably be buying 4 more sweet potato vine plants, put in our thing by April 15th. They tell me is the best time to plant, and a couple more bags of mulch. But that's about all I had, is to ask about the sign and if we have any information on that.
What did you say your name was again? I'm sorry. Troy? Okay. Troy, actually, there is a work order, something that I can write down and request the plants and the mulch for you guys. As for the sign, that's something JD's gonna have to, update us on. I'm not sure where we're at on the new signage, because they're wanting to incorporate the new logo, on the new sign, so we can find out from JD where they're at on that. But I can request, you said you just want 4 plants, and how many bags of mulch?
Between 2 and 3. And
What color do you have out there?
The cypress, basic cypress red.
Okay.
And we're just curious about the sign. If we start planting plants and they change everything, we're gonna lose plants and
Right.
stuff. So
That's why we haven't planted anything new in the other ones, because we're waiting on the. And 4 sweet potato. Mm-hmm.
Let us spend it, I'm gonna let us do that again this year or no?
You talking about pansies and that kind of stuff, or just?
Do you know specifically what kind of plants you want?
Last time we got a list, and I think we gave it to JD, and he got us some money, and CJ come over from back here,
Mhm.
Depot, we bought it, so.
Okay.
Will we do that again this year?
Yeah. I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. Because that's the only one we're really spending any money on right now, so. Like I said, that is our prettiest one, so, yes.
We were advised that everyone wanted them taken out because they didn't like the irrigation systems that we had put in. Is that not the case?
The irrigation systems weren't working, so somebody pulled them out, and there's just the water hose. I think that's what they're right now. When, we had talked about it before, when we get everything finalized, the new sign, everything, we would like irrigation in there again, for sure. But that, we were kind of waiting on that until we got everything else in place and finished before we did the water. Because I imagine with them pulling everything out, if they put new irrigation in now and then put in, it's gonna mess it all up, so yeah.
I talked to JD before the meeting, and, we're trying to get ready for the parade in Old Town, and he's gonna furnish me with some cans of red paint, and me and the grandchildren and Linda are gonna paint the hydrants around Old Town, the fire hydrants, so they'll be bright and red whenever we have the parade there.
How many of them are there?
I think, yeah, there might be some on the edge too. There might be 4 or 5. But
I said, do you need help? We can make a flyer and put it out there.
we can do it. It's good to get my grandkids and get Linda to do all the work. I'll be out there supervising. But some additional paint for Midway Village. We painted some a couple of years ago, and there's some more to do. So if we can get 5 cans of red paint, we'll take care of that. Do as many as we can. And then I guess we're not gonna, talk about the River Rock for our city center, until we get the rock done for Tornado Place, is that correct? Okay, and see how that goes, I guess.
But they're gonna have to get a culvert and stuff on this one first before he does anything.
Okay. And, let's see, what else I have. And, regarding the Old Town, are we gonna need to use some of our budget money to help with the renovation of that, the upgrade prior to the parade?
Like the Rose Lane upgrade?
Yeah,
We will see. As of right now, no.
okay, okay. And there's also in Old Town, there's a electric box there. It's kind of on the corner of Epperly and 29th on the northwest corner. It's just a aluminum metal box there. And we talked about doing some ramps for things, and that's the only place we saw in Old Town that we could put a ramp on that. But that would be something maybe we could get done before the parade. That would kind of up. I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy with anything.
Talking about painting them?
Huh?
Painting them?
Well,
I can find one I can print and actually put on the box.
oh, okay. What do you think, JD? What?
I believe it's a traffic box, what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's probably a traffic box, yeah. And I understand we can do anything we want to those to make them look better. So it's probably 4 foot by 3 foot and by 4 foot tall, or 3.5 foot or something like that tall. So have you seen it before? Okay, so if we could put a wrap on that, I think that would be something that would be good for the parade. We were driving around Midwest City today, and we noticed like in there on 29th Street, all their electric poles are painted black, which was part of the discussion when we were talking about Old Town. And it makes a huge difference. You wouldn't think that painting those poles would make it look better, but I mean, our poles are kind of silver and a little bit of rust and some paint fell off and stuff. And if we could paint those black, as they just talked about it, it takes away that they don't interfere with your scenery as so much as they're kind of disturbing now. So I think that'd be something maybe we could do before the parade that would make things look better there. And one other thing that, we've had all this new internet services that have been put in Dell City, and with mostly AT&T, I think. And so we have a city full of blue and orange and yellow flags that are just everywhere. And I talked to an AT&T person one time, and I asked him when they were going to come back and pick those up. And he told me never. And he said that he understood that after 15 days, any flag that's been put in the ground like that for underlying wires and stuff, you're eligible to pull them up. I don't know that to be true. That's what he told me. But, I mean, you see them in every neighborhood in the city. They're just all over the place. If we could somehow find out the time that it's legal for us to pull those up, and if we could get that out to the public, like if you had a flag in your yard for 15 days, you can go pull it up. Or would you please pull it up? I think that would help beautify the city as a whole. So, thank you. Thank you. How would you do that? Would you put it on the newsletter, or?
It'd be a combo. We would do the newsletter, probably a social media post that says, hey, these are utility locates. After your project is done or something is complete, you could come in and remove them at that time. We could find something, because they just kind of eventually go away. I won't lie, usually the weather takes care of them because they're not in very deep. But
Yeah.
better than having them scattered around, having them taken up is probably a better idea. We can at least get that out there as soon as we find out the rules.
And then people just take them out of their yards without feeling like they're breaking the law or something. Okay, thanks so much.
Twenty-ninth and Sooner, there was a welcome sign. Yeah, right, it was right across the street from the OMQ. So welcome to Del City, big brown sign.
I know there was like a plain sign over there in that field, but I don't remember it being like a bed or anything. There was no bed. It was just a sign. And when they started doing all that construction stuff, they took it down. But it was just a plain sign. Do you know what I'm talking about, Pam? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a brown, welcome to Del City.
At one point, there was a discussion about that, that's a county land, right? And we were trying to get access to that county land to put some of the planes from the base there. Is that still something
That was never given to the military. That was just a discussion internal. By the time that we actually approached the military, that general had already moved on, or that base commander had moved on. So that's it. We'll be happy to bring it back up to a future base commander, but as of right now, there's no project plan for that.
any other project for like putting a signage there?
So the current project for 29th and Sooner was to either purchase the property back from the county, or if the county would let us have it on loan, we would turn that into a food truck location and actually have like a food truck, and we put out a couple of park benches and just make it a food truck park, like on Fridays or the first Friday of the month or something, trying to build that up. That's one of the goals we're doing, but we haven't been able to pull that trigger yet. We're waiting for our county commissioner to work with us on that approval.
And that would include some kind of a welcome to Del City sign?
Or banner or something of that nature, yeah.
Okay. Great.
Anybody else? Okay. Committee liaison report, submission of potential neglected areas into the reported system. Anyone have anything?
Okay, so for my items for you all on this one, on the committee report, just want to draw your attention to this first item right here, the Townsend Park expansion project. So this was given to the city council yesterday for a special meeting. There is a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant available through the State Department of Parks and Tourism, and it's funded through the National Parks and Recreation, or Parks and, Walter, help me out, federal. National Parks, is it just National Parks Agency? Yes. Usually it always has something attached to it. So, something, anyway, the feds, yeah. Your tax dollars at work. We have a, what? Townsend Park is up in Midway Village. Yes, the little pocket park that's, so, No, this will be up in the Midway Village area, off of Townsend and Prairie. Thank you. So, the plan that we have talked about off and on with the council for many years was to purchase the property at 507 South Townsend Place. That has been around. That was the original Midway Village grocery store back in the 50s, And so, yes, it has gone through quite a bit of dilapidation, and it is now a blight. So the council has given us permission to purchase that property. So while we were in the process of purchasing the property, we've come across the Land Water Conservation Fund, which will cover 50% of any acquisition of land as long as we make it a perpetual park. So what we have done is we have submitted a grant today that was due this afternoon by 5 o'clock. We submitted a grant that will cover half the cost. It's a $100,000 purchase, so the grant will cover half of that purchase. It's about $50,000 to completely raise and remove it back to raw land. So they'll cover half of that cost, and then putting in just a few parking spaces and then some pocket park amenities, and have it prepared for something more if we get T-set dollars or other future dollars for it. But that process is in play. We will see what happens if that grant comes through. If so, we get 50% reimbursed, but at the minimum, the city is planning to purchase and bulldoze that area by June the 30th. We should be able to close by June the 30th and bulldoze by July 31st. So that'll be good for all the Midway Village folks, for them to know that project is up and running and it will be done by that time. We are very excited to see that. Would love to see the grant come in and cover half the bill, but even if not that, then we'll start building up on that park at a later time. As you can see, it doubles the park size whenever we do that. So just wanted to tell you that is the big park project that we have going on. Thank you to the city council. We have 2 of our council members here. Thank you all for allowing us to submit that grant and coming in on a non-council day to be able to get all that approved. So thank you all so much for that support. So aside from that, we have
I'd just like to say thank you for doing that.
Logan Wilson with our Code Enforcement Division. In addition to working in code enforcement, she is focused on neighborhood enhancement projects. So she is kind of serving in a project and grant manager capacity for that. So this was one of her first state/federal grants that she submitted, and she kicked absolute behind on it. So very excited, very hopeful. This grant is not utilized a lot. It's usually utilized for bigger projects, $1 million projects. So we're asking for some small money and then seeing if we can grow at a later date, but it never hurts to try. So we're very happy. Thank you to Logan and to our development director, Kyle Gandy, for working on that. Moving on to your budget. As you can see, we have our wonderful printout. If anybody wants to keep track at home, you're more than welcome. This is just to let you all know that our current amount that we have submitted so far, we have spent out of the $12,500 that is set aside for you for the fiscal year, we are at $1,393.71. The biggest thing to let you know is we do have a set aside of $300 for equipment rental to be able to do all the work that we've done at the community garden. So that is the only big expense that has popped up since then on the radar, besides the $400 set aside for the bench for Helen Watson. And then we do have the money set aside now that'll be coming up to buy the River Rock that is set to the side. And then we'll have $1,000 set aside to purchase the plants. Those should all clear in the month of April. So just so you know, that has not hit these yet, but as of today's numbers, you have that. So that is my budget report and my liaison report. Do you have any code enforcement complaints you wish to submit? Okay.
I'd say the code enforcement that I've called in and stuff has been really well received, and they've gone to work and, you know, getting things cleaned up and stuff. And Scott was able to get the recliner out of the creek, and I appreciate that too.
So, question, sorry. Did we ever get the planters, or we're not? We've never ordered planters? Or?
No, that's what comes up in April's budget. That's what starts tomorrow. This was just through March, so we haven't gotten the purchase to show up yet. On the way. Yes, and we're having a Thursday meeting with them for the CERI, and we'll go over that in just a minute.
Of the listed board meetings, the Parks Beautification Committee, special meeting 11/25/2025, special meeting 2/3/26, regular meeting, 2/24/26, requested by City Manager J.D. Hawk.
Anybody in the audience want minutes? You're more than welcome to them. You sure?
Someone
Okay.
motion that?
I'll motion to approve.
And got a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. Easy enough.
Okay.
The audience did ask us to read the minutes out loud to them. You don't want to do that?
Hmm.
Did you see how big her eyes got? That wasn't an okay answer.
I'm gonna have to go grab my glasses. Okay, update for the Siri Revitalizing Rose Lane project. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny holding an update discussion on the Revitalizing Rose Lane Siri grant and project requested by City Manager J.D. Hawk.
Awesome. So if you all would like to turn your attention to the back screen here, this is the presentation that was given to the Del City Rotary Club in the month of February. The CERI folks did want to come here, but they were scheduled for last week, so I couldn't get them back fast enough this week. But the biggest thing to let you all know, for those that are keeping track at home, is implementing a placemaking strategy for Rose Lane. And for those that are not familiar, Rose Lane, as you can see here on the left, is that street in between 29th Street and the buildings on 29th and Epperly, the, as they called it, Old Rose Lane. So you're looking at the Rose Lane, Epperly Drive, 29th and Epperly Drive area that we're working on. And you'll have to excuse, this is going to be kind of a funny twirl. I will not give you the history on this one. I'll let that be them. But a place audit took place in October that I do want to let you all see, and some of you all were here in the picture, so that's always great. And the biggest thing I want to let you know is everyone that came in for this place audit was here, had no idea, had never been to Del City. They're mostly from OU working on their master's program or their OU staff. So just to tell you all some of the assets that they identified in Del City, the first one and the most important one to me was the hometown feel. When they came into this area, the first thing they said is it felt like home. That meant the world to me, and that means the world to our council, and that is something that I want to really engage with all of us as we're moving forward on any of these projects. So we know we're already in the right place. We're in the right place at the right time to get this fixed. So they love the location, the low operation cost. They love the architectural options that they have, the community anchors, which of course is the local donut shop, because as we all know, that's where many of our pounds need to be shed from. And then of course the local business. And we lost the local flower shop lady. She was here just a second ago. But everyone was appreciative of that. In addition to that, just the opportunities that they said that it brought in. Just right off the bat, the fact that we can turn this, the business character, we could turn this into anything we want. Entertainment and dining if we want it to be, all musical and cultural based if we want it to be. They liked it. They were very happy with the sidewalk connectivity and the future plans that we have to expand there. The low maintenance options that it has, the large windows that we can utilize, and then of course even the trees. Not my favorite, but others seem to be okay with the tree portion of it. So this is what they heard, and the biggest thing I want you to see that we are focused on. Everybody had ideas for the area, but the biggest things that they talked about was this is a prime location for a mural. So I will tell you, Councilwoman Brown, who is the Ward 3 councilwoman of this area, has jumped on that idea of how can we get a mural or murals all over this area to really enhance the culture and really enhance the planning of it. So that is great. Doing community nights and watch parties, anything like that that we're going to have, especially with the Olympics coming into the state or into the nation or whatever in the coming years, to be able to have cool and exciting events that happen all year round, not just the one time a year. So to say that we would have these community nights coming was something people talked about. Mentioning a pocket park, something small in the areas that we have, especially in front of the police station. What safer place to take your kids and to take your family than right outside the police station? For those police officers keeping track at home, let's not forget that our benches were stolen from there one time, but we'll get over that. That was right before the parade. We had benches set outside in front of the parade, and someone came and took them, and the cops thought that it was employees taking them. So, yeah, we have one crime item there, but, you know, we'll get there. Having seasonal markets. People discussed quite a bit about the seasonal markets. These would be perfect, especially whenever we have the good weather. Oklahoma obviously goes from, from winter to summer very quickly. But whenever we do have those short stints of spring and fall, these would be the perfect time to have seasonal markets. And with all of the connections that we have and the lighting capability, it would be great. One thing that I will say that Councilman Tatum, who is in the audience, had talked about specifically that they jumped on was a streetery. So a street eatery, as you all, whenever you push it together, but actually having outside dining in this area. It is the perfect place. There's a good distance between that and the road to be able to have outside dining, not just with our awesome donut options that we have there, but as other restaurants come into play. And on that street eatery section, food trucks. Being able to have sections set up for food trucks, specifically electric poles that we can set as a city and connect them where that way we don't have the generator power and the stuff kind of taking away from there, but easily putting in food trucks, and then the green space and seating that you would have close to the road, we would be able to design that specifically, but to have a space for you to sit back, relax, enjoy your lunch, whether you're getting it from McDonald's and walking across the street, you're taking a break from whenever you're shopping or working in the area, or even the Christian Heritage Academy, if they come off for lunch or come off, those kids would be able to stop and take a break there. Moving north to there, you can see the alleyway activation. That's just where we go to drop off our mail. And they said, wouldn't it be great if after 6 o'clock you closed down the mailbox and opened it up to having a night dining, a drinking area, a place to just come have a good time, having it well lit and well defined. So they thought that was great. And then stealing from Mr. Soto's home, the rooftop dining. They thought that was an absolutely incredible place to go. The buildings are not super high, so you'd be able to be off the ground, but not, so bad that it causes the height issues or anything for some people. But being able to do rooftop dining and to have the right lighting and the right sections there would be an awesome win. And last but certainly not least, with this being one of the main areas of Del City since our existence, putting some sort of museum or some sort of nod to our history somewhere there, even if it's just in a window of a shop, if the city took over the smallest location there and turned that into a Del City museum, or having it where Pam would incorporate things into her window, Honeybee would incorporate things into their window, making that an option, all of those being great ideas. So that came from these students and the IQC through ACOG. They came up with just these ideas, and this is what all the discussions have been with the community members, with the documents that we've provided them, with the past, the present. So very excited to see these areas, and now what the students are working on is giving us a game plan of how to turn their thoughts into reality, or how to turn the community's ideas into a reality. So this kind of teaches you how to do placemaking. We're just going to kind of go past that. The best part that they had for us is when it comes to anything in the city, planning is a must, and planning takes 2 to 20 years. That is not something that we want to wait for. So we did ask them for time frames. What could we do in the first 6 months? So they provided us with that. What could be done quickly and without a lot of money? I do really appreciate the fact that they put into our limited budget items. The string lights, just having the string lights on 29th and Epperly. Yes, tenfold. Not a problem. Now, trying to figure out who's going to pay that electric bill, because we did find out that you can literally plug those string lights into just a random outlet. Pam does have an outdoor outlet, and she is not here to defend herself. So I have found a low-cost option to help things. But right, yeah, to save some money there. And then as you can see where it says Ottawa end zone, just as an example, for the city to be able to have those created are a very low-cost option just to start. So if we built a pillar that just says Epperly area or Rose Lane or whatever the terminology we'll end up using, anything that we do there could be a low-cost option replaced with more expensive. Someday we'll bring in the granite obelisks that, cost 50 grand a piece and, have someone's name built into them. But even starting there, it just classes it up very quickly and can be done in the first 6 months. The other areas just of what a street eatery could look like, especially outside of Honeybee, that is a very low-cost option to have built. You're looking at less than $10,000 to build an outdoor area for the cafe. The other parts, this is something that Councilwoman Brown is working on, is trying to find funding for these high visibility crosswalks just to start the cultural shift. Because once we start seeing the beautification, once we start seeing the excitement of the area, it's going to draw in the bigger and betters. It's hard to bring in the Empire Slice Pizza when there's nothing there for it to look at. When they start saying, oh, look, the money is already being invested, the city is already behind it, the community is already behind it, this is where we want to be. So those coming up, and the temporary bollards, that is something that Micah is looking into, that you literally can open them up, pull them, lock them in place, and then you can have your entire area called off, put them down, lock them in place, we're good to go there. Bearing in mind the benefit of having the fire station there is their quick access to 29th, so it's not something we can put up daily, nightly, all the time. It's going to have to be specific nights and weekends. We don't want to ruin the response time, but every one of the firefighters, the fire chief has said, we'll figure it out. That's how excited everyone is. Well, they'd have access to get out to the side, but getting out straight to 29th. So that would be the only issue there. Some other small things is the facade grants. We could provide as a city through some of our specialty restricted funding, small grants to the business owners or to the property owner to remove some of the window tinting, add planters and trash cans, and then power wash and touch up paint. Things before we get to the actual theme of it, we can at least start with just the general cleaning of it, which would be a great sign. Wouldn't be too super expensive. The city would be able to kick in its share, and that way everybody could kind of feel like it's a joint plan instead of just one person doing it on their own.
Have you talked about curb painting?
Yes, that'll be coming in some updates.
Okay.
So from the medium term, the 6-month to 2-year plan, oh, yes?
Yeah, one thing I haven't seen in any of this discussion yet is public art. I think that public art adds a lot of feel to a community. I brought something home recently. I only paid a couple $100 for it, but it's kind of an icon of the neighborhood now when I put it out. But I've got a bison that I put in my front yard. It only stands about 3 feet high. But the neighbors get a huge kick out of it. I mean, everybody notices it goes well with the decor of my house and the prairie type yard, but I think public art that is thematic with what Dell City is all about would be a really important and valuable addition to this upgrade in the Rose Lane area.
Awesome.
You know, something that says who we are as a community. And Dell City is a little bit vague where that place. It's in between Oklahoma City and Tinker. But Oklahoma in general has a lot of valuable history that I think we can borrow from, whether it's oil derricks or Native American life, life on the prairie with bisons, cowboy life, etc. But I think we can tap into a lot of that and put very meaningful public art in that really bumps our community up a notch.
Awesome, thank you. So moving on to the medium term, that would be the 6-month to 2-year section. This is where we would put in the actual signage, the higher dollar items that we were talking about there, once we've had a chance to go out for RFP, design, all of those good areas. And then it starts getting into, they decided that mid-century sign would be the way to go for this area, in their opinion. And they said that that would be a great way to maintain the feel of what it was, but still class it up a bit. So that when they came up with mid-century, after all the different options, that is where they came up. We thought the ideas were great, especially seeing those signs. There are different sign companies that specialize in those, using the new age lighting with the old age way of doing it, so we can still keep it without it costing us, Vegas style neon, with making that happen. So great ideas with that. And then doing things like they came up with Epperly Eats, the first Friday of the first Friday of the month, doing an Epperly Eats food truck or something. But yes, bringing it in within 6 months. Like once we start having Rose Lane working, then we start adding to it and start saying, okay, here's what we're doing for now. We see what we like about it, we grow from there. We see what we like, we grow from there. So they were very excited about it. And then they showed us what we could do with pop-up shops. We can literally buy those $400 to $500 little sheds from Home Depot and the city can have them, where we take them out on once a month and set them up side by side. You build a small pop-up shop, you have it for the weekend, you have great stuff, you put them away, the city takes them away until the next month. It is easy come and go. I did not realize how little those sheds can make such a big difference, especially when you're building your own business. So great idea for that and to make it fun. And these are just some of the specific items. The First Friday Food Series, lunchtime pop-ups where we contact, similar to what F&B did the other month, where they brought in the Silver Dollar cinnamon rolls in their parking lot. Just all of a sudden surprise, you wake up and you've got a food truck from the fair that you don't get to see except every September, and everybody loves September food outside of September. It'd be great to go and have a poncho dog on a random Tuesday kind of a thing. So building something like that, and then having the local merchandise. They were very big on whatever we turn this into, let Del City. So if Epperly Eats is what we're going to call it, let's actually have it branded where when we have our committee members come and we have those employees come, anyone, it's already branded and prepared to kind of get it on people's brains. So great ideas. And then the 2 to 5 year long term. This is where the public art would come in, sir. So having these improvements like landscaping and murals, because those do take a little bit more time, but basically, how do we take that with the signage that we're bringing in and then putting in something long term to either put in Del City's history, Del City's culture with music, or whatever we want it to be. If we do want it to be cowboy rustic themed, if we do want it to be mid-century modern, if we do want it to be new age industrial, whatever that would look like, bringing those in, especially on the sides of the buildings. So as of right now, these are some of the things that they've already provided us with, different elements that we can bring in. They're going to be providing us these actual site plans. If we are going to do this, you can't just hand it over to Josh from the chamber and say, now we want you to make this happen. Anything that can give him a roadmap to get started, and that's what they're going to bring in. If we do want to do a pop-up shop, if we do want to do a food truck night, here's the actual location and where we think you should have 5 food trucks, 7 vendors, 2 hot dog stands, and a dog park. All of those areas right there for us to see. So we can modify it from there, but that way we're not starting from scratch. We're starting with legitimate ideas from legitimate planners. That way it's not so overwhelming. The eating the elephant one bite at a time process. So the other areas I'll just finish up here is having the identity, making sure whatever identity we go with stays with us. We don't want it to be something that we change after 2 months and then change again in 2 months. Yes, because if it's not taken care of, people aren't going to stay up with it. If it's too much of a hodgepodge, they're going to say, okay, off we go. So, yes, ma'am.
If we're doing this, and we're doing, like, the main focus is Old Town.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the main focus. Now you made me lose my train of thought. Why would we call, Epperly Eats as opposed to Old Town Eats or something
That was
like
just
that?
an example
Okay,
that came
all right,
up with quickly, yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, we would actually send that through Kyle's team or graphic design team to come up with a legitimate one. They were just trying to say how easily we could come up with something, and that was something they played with in the first few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Cindy that I instead of Epperly, I know that they're a founder of Del City and everything, but I would like to see it mentioned like Old Town or Old Town DC or something like that.
Awesome. So those are the areas that they are providing us. We have our next meeting set for this Thursday. It'll be virtual. I know we've had a lot of the members that aren't able to attend because it is during the workday. So if you are able to attend, even if it's just on the phone with your earphones in, we would love to have you listen in on what's coming. It'll be 10 o'clock this Thursday.
Can you send a link out? Is that a Zoom meeting?
Yes.
Can you send me a link?
Sure.
Is it going to be in person downtown also?
Oh. Well, maybe if you have it in, then subconsciously you'll get to hear what's happening. So, just want to let everyone know how much I appreciate all the hard work we've been doing for this. We are getting close. As a reminder, when the city takes this, we should get their final drafts by the end of May at the latest. That's when school lets out. Then it will go before the city council for formal adoption. And the formal adoption is the city council giving me permission to start spending money, finding grants, working toward these processes. And as we have stated, starting July 1, it is a go. We will start with the 6-month process immediately and see what we can start working ourselves into. Councilwoman Brown is already working on the mural side of things. Councilman Tatum is working on some of the streets and basic focuses there. If you all have gotten to come by the area, you'll already see our streets department is planning on ripping up a section of it and replacing the gravel with concrete. So that way we have no trip hazards and we can kind of focus on what that will look like. But we've already done street sweeping. We've done our first layer of weed killer, trying to clean everything up. We've gotten rid of some of the, we're just going to use the random poles and the random, as Micah told us today, sign fatigue. There's too many random signs and too many things that don't go anywhere. So having those ripped off the areas where that way it just kind of cleans up the place in preparation for what happens. And our first official event will be after the parade in May, the Armed Forces Day Parade. We will have an Armed Forces Day Festival taking place immediately following the parade with food trucks, vendors, things of that nature right there in the Rose Lane area as our first test to see how this can work. So we are very excited.
On the, like the pop-ups, will there be a different theme to each time you do one, like arts pop-up in Del City, you know, for certain, this weekend or something like that, and the next pop-up would be a different kind of a theme of something?
It absolutely could be. We have not gotten that far yet with, that'll mostly be Josh from the chamber that'll be taking that on, and then the city staff assisting. We have not gotten that deep into it yet. Right now, we're only focused on the Armed Forces Day Parade because it's kind of big. And then after we're done with that, we'll start focusing on those ideas. If you think theming it or changing it up would be a good idea, we are absolutely interested in it.
So you said that the Rose Lane meeting on Thursday is going to be virtual?
Yes.
Do you have a link or does it?
So yes, we have not gotten the link from Lane Ferguson yet. As soon as we have the Zoom link, all of you will get it from me.
Anything else on the update?
Any other question on the Rose Lane side?
Are we going to have are we going to have the flower pots before the
Parade, that is the
parade?
goal, yes.
Okay.
They might not be as painted and pretty as we want them to be, but we're trying to get as many things in place before the 15th of May as we can get.
I'd just like to say that's very exciting. I think we're all enthusiastic.
They're supposed to be at the meeting this Thursday on Zoom, and then they're supposed to communicate with us after that. They did give us a price of what it would take for them to do some of the planning, and it was only $6,000 for the whole area. That is very cheap for design work, and that was because they gave us a discount and some other things, because they just want to be part of it, to be helpful, be nice. So very excited to see that. We'll have to, of course, go through all of our procurement rules and things to make it happen, but very happy to see that.
So, question for Mr. Walter. If we were to get the pots around that time, do you think you can donate some of your plants for those pots?
Yeah, I've got several that I could dig up just about any time in my front yard where I've got extra volunteer plants I'm trying to thin out. So, yes.
Walter, just from size-wise, how
Thank
big
you.
is a Mexican hat?
It'll grow to about 2 to 3 feet tall with a spread of about 3 feet.
Is that kind of like how elephant ears can get as big as you want them to get, or
No,
will they?
it's going to be limited, but it's a gorgeous display.
Okay.
It's also called prairie coneflower. People who are familiar with that, it's a beautiful red and orange flower. It's a gorgeous burst of color.
Awesome. Yep.
All right, I love it. Anything else for anybody? Any more questions?
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the approval of the 2026 seed solicitation letter. Discussion, consideration, or possible action to approve or deny the language of the 2026 seed solicitation letter to be used to request the donation of seeds for the Parks and Beautification Committee from various commercial businesses requested by Chairwoman Stacy Freitas.
So if you all have a chance to look over this, if you see any grammatical mistakes, anything you want to do differently, this is almost identical to 2025. I've cleaned it up just a tiny bit and moved a few things around. If there's something you want to see different, let me know. If not, if you all are good with it, we will print copies of it. It will not have the line, it'll just be empty for you to fill in the blank there, and then we can go from there.
I think it looks fine. Did you guys look at it? Okay, I motion for the approval of this solicitation letter.
I second.
All right, all in favor? All right,
Aye.
approved.
Woohoo!
All right, we're going to go on. Purchase 2026 Armed Forces Day Parade Supplies. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny the selection and purchase of consumables in an amount not to exceed.
Blank. From the beautification.
Now, is this for our seeds?
So this is up to anything that you want. If you all want to purchase candy, if you want to
and
purchase seeds, if you want to purchase the bouncy
Well,
balls,
We need to.
if you want to
we need
purchase trowels and throw trowels into the crowd, I
Right.
mean, I don't know that
We
would
need
work,
to,
but
we need to purchase our seeds, which I don't remember how much she spent last time. But I would say, for candy and seeds, how much do you guys think?
I will remind you, you still have leftovers from the October purchase since we didn't get to have the October event, the trunk or treat. So you do have,
We still have candy?
well, I know you have, you know what, hold on. Let's just open the back door here and see what we have.
Because I thought we used that for the, I thought we used that. Oh my gosh, yeah, we can throw those. Let's do, we can throw those, but we do need to purchase the seeds and it's like dum-dums, so we can attach the dum-dums to the seeds.
Okay.
So it would stick to them, so we could tape them on it.
The what?
Then we did the crackers, and we did the Swedish fish.
Well, that's what all that is back there.
But we taped all the seeds to it so that they didn't fly off.
Yeah, we can do that too. But I'm just saying, for the ones that we don't tape to those, we'll just
I was
put
like,
dum-dums on.
sometimes that would just spread apart and your dum-dum will hit you in the head and it's gonna break.
Oh.
I always get broken dum-dum.
Oh my gosh. So, I don't remember how much we spent on seeds. Do you guys have any idea? No, it was more than that. Yeah. I'll say, just to be safe, not to exceed $1,500.
Okay, for everything total, no matter what we
Yeah.
purchase,
Yeah.
okay? 1,000.
15, do you guys think that's a good number?
I think that's a lot,
Okay.
so we should be good.
Well, I'm not to exceed. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
so-
then what I will do, if that's okay with you all, is when you're ready, we will send you with probably Terry from our purchasing department. Let her go with you with the credit card and let you all just kind of go nuts at Sam's,
I'm
Walmart.
good at that.
Okay. And as long as you all just have a limit in mind, so 1,500 being your limit, I'm good with it if you all are.
Yep. Okay, I motion that we do not exceed the $1,500 for the budget.
Okay?
Anyone? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approved. All right, purchase of the community garden supplies. Discussion, consideration, possible action to approve or deny the selection and purchase of tools, equipment, and supplies for the Rotary Park Garden, community garden, in an amount not to exceed, I'll say not to exceed 1,000.
On the rock?
No, this is our community garden. Yeah. No, this is this Saturday. What we want. It is, but this is the community garden. It's something different. What we want is T-poles, right? Isn't that what they're called, T-poles? And the fence that, like, for 4 rows that we can put our peppers and our tomatoes and our green beans and cucumbers to grow up, so they won't blow away. So that's what we're needing. So how much do you think that, under $500 it would take for that? Have you been out there, Floyd? You've been to the community garden. So I'm saying for 4 rows, if we're gonna do 4 rows of posts and then just a the cheaper fencing. 4. I'm gonna say we're gonna do at least 4 to 5 poles a row. No. One of those little metal, just metal poles, Yes, I gave JD a copy. Do you remember how much those were? I don't remember either.
Oh, hang on. Yes, I do.
They weren't $15
Sorry, I'm
a
thinking of
piece.
something else.
I say they're like five,
The
maybe 5 or 6.
Green steel fence posts were $6.98 a
Yeah,
piece.
$6.98.
If we buy 75 of them, they're $6.28 a piece.
So
And then
7
your
times-
galvanized steel chains are $13.38 for the hog rings. And your,
So not to go over $500, and we should be fine.
yeah, black
Yeah.
wired coated welded wire, and then steel welded wire is $52 a roll or $98 a roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna motion that we don't go over $500 for the beautification budget
Okay.
on that. Anybody? Second? All right, all in favor? All right, approved. Discussion, project planning, and updates. Discussion, consideration, or possible action to approve or deny holding a discussion regarding the various remaining beautification projects requested by the committee, requested by City Manager J.D. Hawk.
So this is always a catch-all. Is there anything else on the radar that I have forgotten that we need to focus on?
Calvin's Ranch.
That's already been purchased, we're just waiting for it to come in.
I hadn't
Yeah.
heard.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
We were still waiting, and
Oh.
they kept sending you in memorandum or
Well,
whatever.
we
Was she not at that meeting?
We hadn't met since then, since it came in.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So we got the design,
That was the last thing I.
okay, we got the design approved. It's gonna, it's already been purchased. It was about $300. As soon as it comes in, we'll take it to where it needs to be, have it sealed in, then do a big to-do for it.
And is the chamber still doing that with us, or are we doing that by ourselves?
I mean, they can do it with us, but we paid for it.
I mean, it's fine, I just know she did a lot for the chamber too, so I didn't know if we wanted that to be,
Yeah.
them to be included
We can
too.
make it both.
Okay.
That's easy.
Okay,
But you said 500.
yeah. We do have, this Saturday, if anybody's interested, at the community garden, right by Epperly Elementary, we have our community garden. At 9 o'clock, we're gonna be planting, and, Cleon from the city helped tremendously this last week. I took a day off and went out there, and he used a bucket, and he tilled all the rows, and he moved the mulch for us, and he put new dirt in, and so we're just gonna need people to bring a rake, and we're gonna rake all that out. We're gonna plant, and we're gonna water. We have what'd you call her, a benefactor? We have somebody in the,
That's a good way to
a
put it, benefactor,
yeah.
yes.
She bought all the mulch and all the dirt, and she also ripped out we had some raised beds, but they were not good. So they actually tore those out last week, and they're bringing us 3 back by this weekend. So we're be able to plant in those 2. And then after we get everything planted, we'll get the water turned back on. So if anybody's interested in showing up, we're super excited to get this going, and this will be the first year that we'll have every row planted. I've started everything in my greenhouse, so we're excited. If anybody wants to show up and help. Yes, right there at that park.
By the creek,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so we're super excited about that. This Saturday, 9 o'clock. Do you guys have anything else? Any updates or anything? He walked back there. I'm sure he'll be back.
Mama showed.
I just want to check on, update on electricity for Townsend Park.
That has been gone through OG&E. Everything is set up. They're going to be setting a temporary pole, and then our building maintenance person, Big Steve is what we call him, he will be putting in the cutoff switch. Is that the right word?
Sounds good.
There you go, something like that, where we can have different settings available for it. So that should be in by June, is what they've told us, but that's also OG&E timeframe, kind of like when Cox tells you they'll be there between 8 and noon. So, but they have said that should be set up by June.
Okay, and we also talked about the empty concrete pad at Eagle Lake. We were considering putting a basketball goal there on one of the pads for a court.
I have that on a list, but I have not done anything with it yet.
Okay,
But it is on the list.
okay. Guess that's it for me. Thank you.
pretty much. Motion? Do we have a motion? Okay, Cindy? Floyd? Any opposition? Nope, woohoo, 6:58.
Aye, aye, aye.